You stand up and get out of there. You go to the next theater and it's the story of your beloved. Now you can see the way your beloved perceive you, and the character is completely different from the one who was in your movie and the one who was in your mother's movie. You can see the way your beloved perceive your children, your family, your friends. You can see the way your beloved wants to project him or herself. And it's not the way you perceive your beloved at all. Then you decide to leave that movie and go to your children's movie. You see the way your children see you, the way they see grandpa, grandma, and you can hardly believe it. Then you watch the movies of your brothers and sisters, of your friends, and you find out that everybody is starting all the character in the movie. After seeing all these movies, you decide to return to the first theater to see your own movie once again. You look at yourself acting in your movie, but you no longer believe anything you are watching. You no longer believe your own story because you can see that it's just a story. Now you know that all the acting you did your whole life is really for nothing because nobody perceived you the way you want it to be perceived. You can see that all the drama that happens in your movie is not really noticed by anybody around you. It's obvious that everybody's attention is focused on their own movie. They don't even notice when you are sitting right beside them in their theater. And the actors have all their attention on their story. And that is the only reality they live in. Their attention is just hooked by their own creation that they don't even notice their own presence, the one who is observing their movie. In that moment, everything changes for you. Nothing is the same anymore because now you see what's really happening. People live in their own world, in their own movie, in their own story. They invest all their faith in that story, and that story is truth for them. But it's a relative truth because it's not true for you. Now you can see that all their opinions about you really concern the character who live in the movie, not in yours, the one who they are judging in your name. It's a character they create. Whatever people think of you is really about the image that they have of you. And that image is not you. At this point, it's clear that people you love the most do not really know you and you don't know them either. The only thing you know about them is what you believe about them. You only know the image you created for them, and that image has nothing to do with the real people. You thought that you knew your parents, your spouse, your children, and your friends very well. The truth is, you have no idea what is going on in their world, what they are thinking, what they are feeling, what they are dreaming. What is even more surprising is that you thought you knew yourself. Then you come to the conclusion that you don't even know yourself because you have been acting for so long that you have mastered pretending to be what you are not. With this awareness, you realize how ridiculous it is to say, my beloved does not understand me, nobody understands me. Of course they don't. You don't even understand yourself. Your personality is always changing from one moment to the next. According to the role you are playing, according to the secondary characters in your story, according to the way you are dreaming. At the time, at home, you have a certain personality. At work, your personality is completely different. With your female friends, it's one way. With your male friends, it's another way. But all your life, you made the assumption that other people knew you so well, and when they didn't do what you expected them to do, you took it personally, reacted with anger, used the word to create a lot of conflict and drama for nothing. Now it's easy to understand why there is so much conflict between humans. The world is populated by billions of dreamers who are not aware of the people are living in their own world, dreaming their own dream from the point of view of the main character, which is their only point of view. Everything is all about them. When the secondary characters say something that does not agree with their point of view, they get angry and try to defend their position. They want the secondary character to be the way they want to be them, and if they're not, they feel very hard. They take everything personally. With this awareness, you can also understand the solution, and it's something so simple and logical. Do not take anything personally. Now, the meaning of the second agreement is profoundly clear. This agreement gives you immunity in the interaction you have with the secondary character in your story. You don't have to consider yourself with the other people's point of view. Once you can see that nothing others say or do is about you, it doesn't matter who gossips about you, who blames you, who rejects you, who disagree with your point of view. All the gossip does not affect you. You don't even bother to defend your point of view. You just let the dogs bark and surely they will bark and bark and bark, so what? Say does not affect you because you are immune to their opinions and their emotional poison. You are immune from the predators, the ones who use gossip to hurt other people, the ones who want to use other people to hurt themselves. Don't take anything personally. It's a beautiful tool of interaction with your own kind, human to human, and it's a bit to get the personal freedom because you no longer have to rule your life according to other people's opinions. This really frees you. You can do whatever you want to do, knowing that whatever you do has nothing to do with anyone but you. The only person who needs to be concerned about the story of you is you. This awareness changes everything. Remember? Awareness of the truth is the first step to self-mastery, and that is what you're doing right now. You are being reminded of the truth. Now that you understand this truth, now that you are aware, how can you take anything personally anymore? Once you understand that all humans live their own world, in their own movie, in their own dream, the second agreement is pure common sense. Do not take anything personally. Truth or fiction? The third agreement. Do not make assumptions. For centuries, even millennia, humans have believed that a conflict exists in the human mind, a conflict between good and evil. But this is not true. Good and evil are just the result of the conflict because the real conflict is between the truth and lies. Perhaps we should say that all conflict is the result of lies because the truth has no conflict at all. The truth does not need to prove itself. It exists whether we believe in it or not. Lies only exist if we create them, and they only survive if we believe in them. Lies are just a distortion of the word, a distortion of the meaning of a message, and that distortion is the reflection of the human mind. Lies are not real. They are our creation, but we give them life and make them real in the virtual reality of our mind. When I was a teenager, my grandfather told me the simple truth, but it took years for me to really understand it because I was always thinking, how can we know the truth? I was using symbols to try to understand the truth when the real truth is that the symbols have nothing to say about the truth. The truth existed long before humans created symbols. As artists, we are always distorting the truth with symbols, but that's not the problem. As we said before, the problem is when we believe that distortion because some lies are innocent and others are deadly. Let's consider how we can use the word to create a story. A superstition about a chair. What do we know about a chair? We can say that a chair is made of a wood or metal or cloth, but we are just using symbols to express a point of view. The truth is that we don't really know what the object is, but we can use the word with all of our authority to deliver a message to ourselves and to everyone around us. This chair is ugly. I hate this chair. The message is already distorted, but this is just the beginning. You can say it's a stupid chair, and I think that whatsoever sits in the chair might become stupid also. I think we have to destroy the chair because if someone sits in the chair and it falls apart, this person will fall and break a hip. Oh yes, the chair is evil. Let's create a law against the chair so that everybody know that it's a danger to society. From now on, it's prohibited to get near the evil chair. If we deliver this message, then whosoever receives the message and agrees with the message start to become afraid of the evil chair. Very soon, there are people who are so afraid of the chair that they start having nightmares about it. They become obsessed with the evil chair, and that, of course, they have to destroy the chair before it destroys them. Do you see what we can do with the word? The chair is just an object. It exists, and that's the truth. But the story we create about the chair is not the truth. It's a superstition. It's a distorted message, and that message is the lie. If we don't believe the lie, no problem. If we believe the lie and try to impose that lie on the other people, it can lead to what we call evil. Of course, what we call evil has many levels depending on our personal powers. Some people can lead the whole world into a great war where millions of people die. There are tyrants all around the world who invade the other countries and destroy the people because the tyrants believe in lies. Now, we can easily understand why there is a conflict in the human mind, and only in the human mind, the virtual reality, because it does not exist in the rest of nature. There are billions of humans who distort all the symbols in their heads and deliver distorted messages. That's what really happened to humanity. I think the answer why all the wars exist, why all the injustice and the abuse exists, why the dream that we call hell exists in the worlds of humans. Hell is nothing but a dream full of lies. Remember, our dream is controlled by what we believe, and what we believe could be truth and could be fiction too. The truth leads us to our authenticity, to happiness, and lead us to limitation in our life, to suffering and trauma. Whoever believes the in truth lives in heaven. Whoever believes in lies sooner or later lives in hell. We don't have to die to go to heaven or hell. Heaven is all around us, just as hell is all around us. Heaven is a point of view, a state of mind, so is hell. It's obvious that lies have been running every show in our humans create the lies, and then the lies control the humans. But sooner or later the truth arrives, and the lies cannot survive the prison of the truth. Centuries ago, people believed that the earth was flat. Some said that elephants were supporting the earth and that made them feel safe. Good. Now we know that the earth is flat. Well, no. We know that it's not flat. The belief that the earth was flat was considered the truth, and almost everybody agreed. But did that make it true? One of the biggest lies we hear at this present time is nobody's perfect. It's a great excuse for our behavior, and almost everybody agrees. But is it true? On the contrary, every human in this world is perfect. But we have been hearing this lie since we were children, and as a consequence, we keep judging ourselves against an image of perfection. We keep searching for perfection, and in our search, we find that everything in the universe is perfect except the humans. The sun is perfect, the stars are perfect, the planets are perfect, but when it comes to the humans, nobody's perfect. The truth is that everything in creation is perfect, including the humans. If we don't have the awareness to see the truth, it's because we are blinded by the lie. You may say, what about someone who is physically disabled? Is that person perfect? Well, according to what you know, that person may be imperfect, but is what you know the truth? Who says that we can call a disability or even the disease is not perfect? Everything about us is perfect, including any disability or disease that we may have. Someone with a learning difficulty is perfect. Someone born without a finger or an arm or an ear is perfect. Someone with a disease is perfect. Only perfection exists. And that awareness is another important step in our evolution. To say otherwise is not to have the awareness of what we are. And it's not enough to say that we are perfect. We need to believe that we are perfect. If we believe ourselves to be imperfect, that lie gathers more lies for support, and together all those lies repress the truth and guide the dream that we can create for ourselves. Lies are nothing but superstition. And I can assure you that we live in a world of superstition, but again, are we aware of it? Just imagine waking up tomorrow morning in the 14th century in Europe, knowing what you presently know, believing what you believe today. Imagine what those people would think of you, how they would judge you. They would put you on a trial for taking a bath every day. Everything you believe will threaten what they believe. How long would it take before they accuse you of being a witch? They would torture you, make you confess to being a witch, and finally kill you because of their fear of your beliefs. You can easily see that those people lived their lives immersed in superstition. Hardly anything they believed was true, and you can easily see that because of what you believe today. But those people were not aware of their superstition. Their way of life was completely normal for them. They didn't know any better because they never learned anything else. Then perhaps what you believe about yourself is just as full of superstition as the belief of those people long ago. Just imagine if human from 7 or 8 centuries in the future could see what most of us believe about ourselves today. The way that most of us relate to our own body is still barbarian, tough, not as much as 700 years ago. Our body is completely loyal to us, but we judge our body and abuse our body. We treat it as if it's the enemy when it's our ally. Our society places a lot of importance on being attractive according to the images we see in the media, on television, in movies, in fashion magazine. If you believe that we're not attractive enough according to these images, then we believe a lie. And we are using the word against ourselves, against the truth, and the people in control of the media tell us what to believe, how to dress, what to eat, and they manipulate humans like a puppets, which means in whatever way they want. If they want us to hate someone, they spread the gossip all around and the lies work their magic. When we stop being puppets, it's obvious that our lives have been guided by lies and superstition. Imagine what future human would think of our superstition if they believed in the perfection of everything in creation, including every human. Would we crucify them for their belief? What is the truth and what is the lie? Once again, awareness is so important because the truth does not come with the words, with knowledge, but lies do. And there are millions of lies. Humans believe so many lies because we are not aware. We ignore the truth and we just don't see the truth. When we are domesticated, we accumulated a lot of knowledge, and all the knowledge is just like a wall of fog that does not allow us to perceive the truth. What really is? We only see what we want to see. We only hear what we want to hear. Our belief system is just like a mirror that only shows us what we believe. In our development, as we grow throughout our lives, we learn so many lies that the whole structure of our lives becomes very complicated, and we make it even more complicated because we think and we believe in what we think. We make the assumption that what we believe is the absolute truth, and we never stop to consider that our truth is a relative truth, a virtual truth. Usually, it's not even close to any kind of truth, but it's the closest we can get without awareness. The truth agreement: do not make assumptions. This takes us to the third agreement: do not make assumption. Making assumption is just looking for trouble because most assumptions are not the truth, they are fiction. One big assumption we make is the everything in our virtual reality is the truth. Another big assumption we make is that everything in everyone else's virtual reality is the truth. Well, no, you know that none of the virtual realities are the truth. Using our awareness, we can easily see all the assumptions we make, and we can see how easy it is to make them. Humans have the powerful imagination, very powerful, and there are so many ideas and stories that we can imagine. We listen to the symbols talking in our head. We start imagining that what other people are doing, what they are thinking, what they are saying about us. We dream things up in our imagination. We invent a whole story that's only truth for us, but we believe it. One assumption leads to another assumption. We jump to conclusion and we take our story very personally. Then we blame other people and we usually start gossiping to try to justify our assumption. Of course, because gossiping is distorted message becomes even more distorted. Making assumption and then taking them personally is the beginning of hell in this world. Almost all of our conflicts are based on this, and it's easy to understand why. Assumptions are nothing more than lies that we are telling ourselves. This creates a big drama for nothing because we don't really know if something is true or not. Making assumption is just looking for drama when there is no drama happening, and if drama is happening in someone else's story, so what? It's not your story, it's someone else's story. Be aware that almost everything you tell yourself is an assumption. If you are a parent, you know how easy it is to make assumptions about your children. It's midnight and your daughter is not home yet. She went out to dance and you thought she would be home now. You start imagining the worst, you start making assumptions. Oh, what if something happened to her? Maybe I should call the police. There are so many things you can imagine, and you created a whole drama of possibilities in your head. 10 minutes later, your daughter arrives home with a big smile. When the truth arrives, and all the lies are dispelled. You realize that you were simply torturing yourself for nothing. Do not make assumptions. If not taking anything personally gives you immunity in the interaction that you have with other people, then not making assumptions gives you the immunity in the interaction that you have with yourself, with your voice of knowledge, or we can call thinking. Making assumption is all about thinking. We think too much, and thinking leads to assumption. Just thinking, what if, can create a huge drama in our life. Every human can think a lot, and thinking brings fear. We have no control over all that thinking and all those symbols that we distort in our head. If we just stop thinking, we no longer to try to explain anything to ourselves, and this keeps us from making assumptions. Humans have a need to explain and justify everything. We have a need for knowledge, and we make assumptions to fulfill our need to know. We don't care whether the knowledge is true or not. Truth or fiction, we believe 100% is what we believe. And we go on believing it because just having knowledge makes us feel safe. There are so many things that the mind cannot explain. We have all these questions that need answers. But instead of asking questions when we don't know something, we make all sort of assumption. If we just ask question, we won't have to make assumption. It's always better to ask and be clear. If we don't make assumption, we can focus our attention on the truth, not on what we think is the truth. Then we see life the way it is, not the way we want to see it. As we shall see, when we don't believe our own assumption, the power of our belief that we invested in them returns to us. When we recover all the energy that we invest in making assumption, we can use the energy to create a new dream, our personal heaven. Do not make assumption. The power of belief, the symbol of Santa Claus. There was a time in your life when you completely owned the power of your belief, but when you were educated to be a part of humanity, the power of your belief went into all the symbols that you learned, and at a certain point of the symbol gained power over you. In truth, the power of your belief went into everything that you know, and since then everything that you know has ruled your life. Obviously, when we are little children, we are overcome by the power of everyone else's beliefs. The symbols are a wonderful invention, but we are introduced to the symbols with the opinion and belief already there. We ingest every opinion without questioning if it's true or not, already there. Yeah. And the problem is that by the time we master a language with all opinions that we hear growing up, the symbols already have the power of our belief. This is not good or bad, or right or wrong. It's just the way it is. It happens to all of us. We are learning to be a member of our society. We learn a language, we learn a religion or philosophy, we learn a way of being, and we structure our whole belief system based on everything we are all told. We have no reason to doubt what other people tell us until the first heartbreak happens, and we find out that something they told us is not true. We go to school, we hear other kids talking, referring to us. They say, "You see that kid? He still believes in Santa Claus." Sooner or later, we find out that Santa Claus does not exist. You can remember your creation, how you felt when you found out that Santa Claus was not the truth. I don't think your parent had a bad intention. Believing in Santa Claus is a wonderful tradition for millions of people. The lyrics, yeah, of one song describe what we are told about the symbol we know of Santa. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout. I'm telling you why Santa Claus is coming to town. We all thought that Santa knows everything we do or do not do. He knows when we have been bad or good. He knows when we don't brush our teeth, and we believe this. Christmas comes and we see the huge difference in the gift that children receive. Let's say you ask Santa for a bicycle and you are good a whole year. Your family is very poor. You open your gift and you don't receive a bicycle. Your neighbor, who is very bad, and you know what very bad means, receives a bicycle. You say, "I was good, this boy was bad, how come I didn't receive a bicycle?" If Santa Claus really knows everything that they do, for sure, he knows everything that my neighbor did. Why would Santa bring a bicycle to my neighbor, not to me? It's not fair, and you don't understand why. Your emotional reaction is envy, anger, even sadness, you see the other little guy riding his bicycle very happily all around, behaving worse than he did before, and you want to go and hit him or break the bicycle. Injustice. And that sense of injustice is because you believe in a lie. It's an innocent lie with no bad intention, of course, but you believe it and you make an agreement with yourself. From now on, I won't be good. I'm going to be bad like a maniac bird. Later, you discover that Santa Claus is not true, he's not real, but it's too late. You already released all the emotional poison. You already suffered the anger, the jealousy, the sadness. You already suffered from making an agreement that was based on a lie. This is just one example of how we invent our faith in a symbol. There are hundreds and even thousands of symbols, story, and superstition that we learn. The symbol of Santa Claus demonstrates how we even believing in an innocent lie can bring up emotion that feel like a fire burning inside us. They feel like poisons. They are hurting us. They are hurting our body, and we suffer from a story that is not real. The emotions are real. They are part of the truth, but the reason we are feeling them is not real, it's not truth, it's a fiction. If you are asking yourself why you are so miserable at times, it's because you are telling yourself a story that is not true, but you believe it. The truth is that your dream has become distorted, but that's not good or bad or right or wrong, because it's happening to billions of other people. You are not the only one in that situation, and that's the good news. The world of the symbol is extremely powerful because we make every symbol powerful with the force that comes from deep inside us. That force that can life, fate, or intent, we don't even realize that it's happening. But together, all the symbols from the whole structure made the agreement, and we call it a belief system. From a single letter to a word, from a single story to an entire philosophy, everything we agree to believe goes into the structure. The belief system gives from and structure to our virtual reality, and with every agreement we make, the structure grows stronger and gains more power until it becomes nearly as rigid as a brick building. If we imagine every symbol, every concept, every agreement as a brick, then our faith is the mortar that holds the bricks together. And as we continue to learn throughout our life, we mix the symbols in many directions, and the concepts interact with themselves to create more complex concepts. The abstract mind becomes organized in a more complicated way, and the structure keeps growing and growing until we have a totality of everything that we know. The structure is what we totally call the human form. The human form is not the form of the physical body, it's the form that our mind takes. It's the structure of our belief about ourselves, about everything that helps us make sense of our dream. The human forms gives us our identity, but it's not the same as the frame of the dream. The frame of the dream is the material world as it is, which is truth. The human form is the belief system with all the element of judgment. Everything that belief system is our personal truth, and we judge everything according to this belief, even if those beliefs go against our own inner nature. In the process of domestication, the belief system becomes the book of law that rules our life. When we follow the rules according to our book of law, we reward ourselves. When we don't follow the rules, we punish ourselves. The belief system becomes the big judge in our mind, and also the greatest victim, because first it judges us, then it punishes us. The big judge is made by symbols, and it works with the symbol to judge everything we perceive, including the symbols. The victim is the part of us that receives the judgment and suffers the punishment. And when we interact with outside dream, we judge and punish everyone and everything else according to our personal book of law. The big judge is doing a perfect job, of course, because we agree with all those laws. The problem is that with the belief system comes to life within us and uses our knowledge against us. It uses everything we know, all of our rules about how we have to live our life to punish the victim, which is the human. It uses our language to create the self-judgment, the self-rejection, the guilt, the shame. It verbally abuses us and makes us miserable by creating our personal demons and our personal dream of hell. There are so many symbols that we can use to say the same thing. The belief system rules that human life like a tyrann. It takes our freedom away from us and makes us its slave. It takes power over the real us, the human life, and it's not even real. The real us stay hidden someplace in the mind, and the one who controls the mind at that point is everything we know, everything we agree to believe, the human body, which is beautiful and perfect. Because the victim of all the judgment and punishment, it becomes just a vehicle where the mind acts and projects itself through the body. The belief system is in the realm of the mind. We cannot see it or measure it, but we know that it exists. Perhaps what we don't know is that the structure only exists because we create it. Our creation is completely attached to us. It follows us wherever we go. We have been living this way for so long that we don't even notice that we live in this structure. And even though this mind is not real, it's virtual, it's also total power because it's also created by life. Then something very important in the mastery of awareness is to be aware of our creation, to be aware that it's alive. Every one of our beliefs, from a minimal one like a son of a letter to a whole philosophy, is using our life forces to survive. If we could see our mind in action, we could see millions of life forms, and we could see that we are giving life to our creation by giving it the power of our fate, by giving it all our attention. We are using our life force to support the whole structure. Without us, these ideas could not exist. Without us, the whole structure would collapse. If we use the power of our imagination, we can see the creation of our personal mythology, the construction of our belief system, and the beginning of investing our faith in lives. In the process of all the construction, all the learning we do, there are many concepts that contradict other concepts. There are so many different dreams that we build, and when we create so many structures, they go against one another and annul the power of our word. In that moment, our word is almost nothing, because when there are two forces going in opposite direction, the result is zero. When there is only one force going in the one direction, the power is immense. And our intention manifests just because we say so, just because our word has all the power of our faith. As children, we invest our faith in almost everything that we learn, and this is how we lose power over our own life. By the time we grow up, our faith is already invested in so many lies that we hardly have any power left to create the dream that we want to create. And the belief system has all the power of our faith. And by the end of the equation, we remain with almost zero faith, zero power. And it's easy to see how we invest our faith in a symbol of like a Santa Claus, but it's not easy to see how we do the very same thing with every symbol, every story, and every opinion that we learn about ourselves, about everything. I think this is very important to understand. The only way to understand it is by being aware that this is what we are doing. If we have the awareness that we invest our personal power in everything that we believe, perhaps it will be easy to take our power back from the symbols, and the symbol will no longer have any power over us. If we take the power out of every symbol, the symbol becomes just symbols. Then they will obey the creator, which means the real us, and they will serve the real purpose to be a tool that we can use to communicate. When we find out that Santa Claus is not the truth, we no longer believe in Santa Claus, and the power we invested in that symbol return to us. This is when we become aware that we are the one who agreed to believe in Santa Claus. When we recover our awareness, we can see that we are the one who agreed to believe in the entire symbology. And if we are the one who put the power of our faith in every symbol, then we are the only one who can take that power back. If we have this awareness, I think we can recover the power over everything that we believe and never lose control over our own creation. Once we can see that we are the one who creates the structure of our belief, this helps us to recover faith in ourselves. When we have faith in ourselves instead of belief system, we have no doubt where that power comes from, and we start to dismantle the structure. Once the structure of our mental belief system is no longer there, we become very flexible. We can create anything we want to create. We can do anything we want to do. We can invest our faith in anything we want to believe. It's our choice. If we no longer believe in that, in all that we know that make us suffer, then just like a magic, our suffering disappears, and we don't need a lot of thinking. We need action. It's action that is going to make the difference. Practice makes you the master. The fourth agreement: always do your best. When you are ready to change your life, when you are ready to change your agreement, the most important thing is awareness. You cannot change your agreement if you are not aware of what you like and what you don't like. How can you change anything if you are not even aware of what you want to change? But it's more than just being aware. It's the practice that will make a difference. Because you can be aware, but that does not mean you are your life will change. Change is the result of action. It's the result of practice. Practice makes the master. Everything you have ever learned, you learn through repetition and practice. You learn to talk, you learn to walk, you even learn to write by repetition. You are a master of speaking your language because you practice. This is the same way that you learn all the belief, the rule of your life. By practice, the way you are living your life right now is the result of many years of practice. During your whole life, you practice every moment to become what you believe you are right now. You practice until it becomes automatic, and when you start practicing something new, when you change what you believe you are, your whole life is going to change. If you practice being impeccable with your word, if you don't take anything personally, if you don't make assumption, you are going to break thousands of agreements that keep you trapped in the dream of hell. Very soon. What you agree to believe will become the choice of your authentic self, not the choice of the image of yourself that you thought you were. The first agreement, the be impeccable with your word, is all you need to create a beautiful life. It will take you all the way to heaven, but you may need support for this agreement when you don't take anything personally, when you don't make assumption. You can imagine that it's easier to be impeccable with your word. When you don't make assumption, it's easier not to take anything personally, and vice versa. By not taking anything personally and by not making assumption, you are supporting the first agreement. The first three agreements may seem difficult to do. They may even seem impossible for us to do. Well, believe me, it's not impossible, but I have to agree that it's difficult. Because we practice exactly the opposite. All our life, we practice believing the voice in our head, but there is the fourth agreement, and it's easy. This is the agreement that makes everything possible. Always do your best. You can do your best, and that's it. No more, no less. Just do your best. Do take action. How can you do your best if you do not take action? Always do your best is the agreement that everybody can do. Your best is, in fact, the only thing you can do. And the best you can do does not mean that sometimes you give 80% of, and other times you just give 20%. You are always giving 100%. That's always your intention. It says that your best is always changing from one moment to the next. You are never the same. You are alive and changing all the time, and your best is also changing from one moment to the next. Your best would depend on whether you are feeling physically tired or refreshed. Your best will depend on how you are feeling emotionally. Your best is going to change over time, and as you form the habit of practicing the four agreement, your best is going to get better. The fourth agreement allows the first three agreements to become deeply ingrained habits. Repetition and practice will make you the master. But don't expect that you can master these agreements right away. Do not expect that you are always going to be impeccable with your word and that you're never going to take anything personally or that you are never going to make assumption. Your habits are too strong and firmly rooted in your mind. Just do your best. If you fail to keep one of the agreements, make the agreement again, begin again tomorrow and again the next day. Keep practicing and practicing. Each day will become easier by doing your best. Habits of misusing your word, taking things personally, making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent over time. If you keep taking action to change your habits, it's going to happen. Eventually, the moment will come when all four agreements become a habit. You don't even try. It's automatic. It's effortless. One day you discover that you are ruling your life with your four agreements. Can you imagine your life when these agreements become a habit? Instead of struggling with conflict and drama, your whole life becomes very easy. If you are going to create any way, if you cannot avoid dreaming, then why not create a beautiful dream? You have a mind, you perceive a light, you are going to dream. If you make the choice to not create anything, you are going to get bored, and the big judge will resist being bored. Then, of course, it's going to judge you according to what you believe. Oh, you are lazy. You should be doing something with your life. Then why not dream well and really enjoy your dream? If you can believe in your limitation, then why not believe in the beauty and power of life that's flowing through you? Life gives us everything, and everything in life can be a pleasure. Why not believing in the generosity of life and not learn to be generous and kind to yourself? If that makes you happy and you are good to everybody around you, why not? If you're always transforming, if your dream is always changing, if you don't want it to change, why not master the transformation? and create your personal heaven. The dream of your life is made by thousands of little dreams that are dynamic. Dreams are born, they grow, they die, which means they are always transforming, but usually they are transforming without your awareness. Once you are aware that you are dreaming, you recover your power to change the dream whenever you choose. When you discover that you have the power to create a dream of heaven, you want to change your dream. And the four agreements are the perfect tool for that. They challenge the tyrant, the judge, and the victim in your head. They challenge all those tiny agreements that make your life difficult. And if you challenge your belief by just asking yourself if what you believe is true, you may find out something very interesting. All your life, you tried to be good enough for somebody else and you left for yourself last. You sacrificed your personal freedom to live according to somebody else's point of view. You tried to be good enough for your mother, your father, your teacher, your beloved, your children, your religion, and your society. After trying for so many years, you try to be good enough for yourself and you find out that you're not good enough for yourself. Why not put yourself first? Maybe for the first time in your life, you can relearn how to love yourself by accepting yourself unconditionally. And you can stop by projecting unconditional love to the authentic you. Then practice loving your authentic self more and more. When you love yourself unconditionally, you are no longer easy prey for an outsider predator who wants to control your life. You no longer sacrifice yourself for anyone. If you practice self-love, you will master self-love. Always do your best is the agreement that helps you to become the master artist. The first three agreements are the realm of the virtual reality. The fourth agreement is in the realm of the physical. It's about taking action and practicing until you become a dream master. By doing your best over and over, eventually you are going to master the art of transformation. The mastery of transformation is the second mastery of the artist, which you can clearly see in the fourth agreement. When you always do your best, you're taking action, you're transforming yourself, you're changing the dream of your life. The goal of the second mastery is to face what you believe and to transform what you believe. The mastery is achieved by changing your agreement and reprogramming your own mind in your own way. The result you want is the freedom to live your own life instead of the life of the belief system. When that book of love is no longer in your mind, the tyrant, the judge, the victim are no longer in your mind either. The transformation has already started and it always begins with you. Do you have the courage to be completely honest with yourself, to see the truth about how you write your story? Do you have the courage to see your superstition and lies? Do you have the courage to review what you believe you are, and are there too many ones to see? Perhaps you are thinking, I don't know, but you're taking the challenge. You're transforming your dream and it's happening right now because you are doing is unlearning all your lies. The four agreements are actually a summary of the mastery of transformation, and the mastery of transformation is the process of unlearning what you have already learned. You learn by making agreements and you unlearn by breaking agreements. Every time you break an agreement, the power of faith that you invested in that agreement comes back to you because you no longer need to spend your energy to keep that agreement in life. You stop by breaking agreements that are small and require less power. As you unlearn, you begin to dismantle the structure of your knowledge and this frees your faith. As you recover your faith, your personal power increases. Your will becomes stronger. This gives you the power to change another agreement, and then another, and then another. Your personal power keeps growing and growing, and because you're much more powerful, even almost anything is possible. And soon, you are making agreements that lead you to happiness, to joy, to love. Then these new agreements come alive and begin to interact with the outside world, and your whole dream changes. When you unlearn, which is what you are doing now, you begin by facing what you believe. How are you going to face what you believe? You only have one means and very powerful. With the power of doubt, you challenge every message you deliver and receive. You challenge every belief in your book of law. Then you can challenge all the belief of that rule society until you break the spell of all the lies and superstition that control your world. As you shall see, the fifth agreement gives you the power of doubt. Part 2, the power of doubt. The fifth agreement, be skeptical but learn to listen. The fifth agreement is be skeptical but learn to listen. Be skeptical because most of what you hear is not true. You know that humans speak with symbols and that symbols are not the truth. Symbols are only the truth because we agree, not because they are really the truth. But the second half of agreement is to learn to listen. And the reason is simple. When you learn to listen, you understand the meaning of the symbols that people are using. You understand their story, the communication improves a lot, and then perhaps instead of all the confusion among humans who inhabit the earth, there will be clarity. Once you realize that hardly anything you know through symbols is true, then be skeptical has a much bigger meaning. Be skeptical is masterful because it uses the power of doubt to discern the truth. Whenever you hear a message from yourself or from another artist, simply ask, is it truth? Or is it not truth? Is it reality? Or is it a virtual reality? The doubt takes you behind the symbols and makes you responsible for every message you deliver and receive. Why would you want to invest your faith in any message that is not true? By being skeptical, don't believe every message. You don't put your faith in symbol, and when your faith is not the symbol, your faith is in yourself. Then, if faith is believing without a doubt, and doubt is not believing, be skeptical, don't believe. And what will you not believe? Well, you will not believe all the stories that we artists create with our knowledge. You know that most of our knowledge is not true. The whole symbology is not true. So don't believe me, don't believe yourself, so don't believe anybody else. The truth does not need to you to believe it. The truth simply is and it survives whether you believe it or not. Lies need to you to believe them. If you don't believe lies, they don't survive your skepticism and they simply disappear. But skepticism can go in two directions. One way is to pretend to be skeptical because you think you are too smart to be gullible. Look at how intelligent I am. I don't believe in anything. This is not the skepticism. To be skeptical is not to believe everything you hear. And you don't believe because it's not the truth. That's all. The way to be skeptical is just to be aware that the entire humanity believes in lies. You know that? Human efforts. The truth because we are dreaming and our dream is just a reflection of the truth. Every artist distorts the truth, but you don't need to judge what somebody says or call that person a liar. All of us tell lies in one way or another, and it's not because we want to lie, it's because of what we believe, it's because of the symbols we learn and the way we are applying all of those symbols. Once you are aware of this, the fifth agreement makes a lot of sense, and it can make a big differences in your life. People will come to you and tell you their personal story. They will tell you their point of view, what they believe is truth, but you won't judge if it's truth or if it's not truth. You don't have any judgment, but you do have respect. You listen to the way other people express their symbol, knowing that whatever they say is distorted by their belief. You know that what they are telling you is nothing but a story, and you know that because you can feel it. You just know, but you also know when their words come from truth. And you know without words, and that's the main point. Truth or fiction, you don't have to believe anyone's story. You don't have to form an opinion about what someone says. You don't have to express your own opinion. You don't have to agree or disagree. Just listen. The more impeccable a person is with the word, the clearer the message will be. But the words that come from another artist have nothing to do with you. You know that it's nothing personal. You listen and you understand all the word, but the words no longer affect you. You no longer judge what other people say because you understand what they are doing. They are only letting you know what is going on in their virtual world. You already have the awareness that all artists live in their own dream, in their own world, in that world. Whatever they perceive is truth for them, and it could be that it's absolutely true for the artists who are expressing their story, but it's not truth for you. The only truth for you is what you perceive in your world. With his awareness, there's nothing to prevent anyone. It's not about being right or wrong. You respect whatever somebody says because it's another artist speaking. Respect is so important. When you learn to listen, you show respect for the other artists, you show respect for their art, for their creation, and all artists have the right to create their art in whatever way they want. They have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. They have the right to say whatever they have to say. But if you don't learn to listen, you will never understand what they are saying. Listening is so important in communication. When you learn to listen, you know exactly what other people want. Once you know what they want, what you do with that information is up to you. You can react or not react. You can agree or disagree with what they say, and that depends on what you want. Just because other people want something, that doesn't mean you have to give them what they want. People are always trying to hook your attention because through the attention they can download any information. And many times you just don't want that information. Listen, you don't want it. You ignore it and change direction. But if that information hooks your attention, then you really want to listen to find out if what someone is saying is important to you. Then you can share your point of view if you want to, knowing that it's just a point of view, that's your choice, but the key is to listen. If you don't learn to listen, you will never understand what I'm sharing with you right now. You will jump to conclusion and react like it's your dream when it's not your dream. When other artists are sharing the dream with you, just be aware that it's their dream. You know what your dream is and what your dream is not. Right now, I'm sharing the way that I perceive the world, the way I dream, and my stories are the truth for me. But I know they're not real truth, so don't believe me. Whatever I tell you is just my point of view, of course. From my point of view, I'm sharing the truth with you. I do my best to use words in most impeccable way so that you can understand what I'm saying. But even if I say an exact copy of the truth with you, I know what you will distort my message as soon as it goes from my mind into yours. You will hear the message and tell yourself the same message in a completely different way according to your point of view, then perhaps what I say is the truth or not the truth, but perhaps what you believe is not the truth. I'm only one half of the message, you are the other half, and I'm responsible for what I say, but I'm not responsible for what you understand. You are responsible for what you understand, and you are responsible for whatever you do with what you hear in your head, because you are the one who gives the meaning to every word that you hear. Right now, you're interpreting what I'm saying according to your personal knowledge. You are rearranging the symbols and transforming them in a way that maintain an equilibrium with everything in your belief system. Once you achieve that equilibrium, you may or may not accept my story as the truth, and you can make this assumption that what you are telling yourself is what I intended to say. But it doesn't mean that your assumption is true. You can misinterpret what I say. You can use what you hear to blame me. You blame somebody else, to blame yourself, to blame your religion or philosophy, to be angry with everybody, mainly with yourself. You can also use what you hear to find the truth, to find yourself, to make a peace with yourself, and perhaps to change the message that you deliver to yourself. Whatever you do with my words, it's up to you. It's your dream, and I respect your dream. You don't have to believe me, but if you learn to listen, you can understand what I'm saying, and if the information I'm sharing with you makes sense to you, then you can make it a part of your dream if you want to. You can take whatever works for you and use it to modify your dream, and what does not work for you, just ignore it. Won't make any difference to me, but it make a difference to you because I make the assumption, knowing that it's an assumption that you want to become a better artist, and that's why you are challenging your own belief. Don't be skeptical, don't believe me, don't believe anybody else, but especially don't believe yourself. When I say don't believe yourself, oh my goodness, you can see the implication. Don't believe everything you learn. Not believing yourself is a huge advantage because most of what you learn is not the truth. Everything you know, your whole reality is nothing but symbols. But you are not that bunch of symbols that talk in your head, you know that, and that's why you are skeptical and you don't believe yourself. If your beliefs are telling you, I am fat, I am ugly, I am old, I am a loser, I'm not good enough, not strong enough, I will never make it, then don't believe yourself because it's not true. These messages are distorted. They are nothing but lies. Once you can see the lies, you don't have to believe them. Use the power of doubt to challenge every message that you deliver to yourself. Is it really true that I'm ugly? Is it really true that I'm not good enough? Is this really me, the real message? Or is it a virtual? Of course, it's virtual. None of these messages come from truth, from life. They come from distortion in our knowledge. The truth is there are no ugly people. There is no good enough or strong enough. There is no universal book of law where any of these judgments are true, and the judgment are just agreement that human makes. Can you see the consequences of believing yourself? Believing yourself is one of the worst things you can do because you have been telling yourself lies your whole life, and if you believe all those lies, that's why your dream is not a pleasant dream. If you believe what you tell yourself, you may use all the symbols that you learn to hurt yourself. Your personal dream may even be pure hell, because believing in lies is how you create your own hell. If you are suffering, it's not because anybody is making you suffer, it's because you obey the tyrant that's ruling your head. when the tyranny obeys you, when there is no longer a judge or victim in your mind, you won't be suffering any longer. Your tyrant is ruthless. It's always abusing you by using all the symbols against you. It's driven on emotional poison generated by negative emotion, and the way it generates this emotion in you is by judging and giving opinions. Nobody judges you more than you judge yourself. Of course, you try to escape from the judgment, the guilt, the rejection, the punishment, but how can you escape from your own thoughts? If you don't like someone, you cannot walk away. If you don't like yourself, wherever you go, you're still there. You can hide from everybody else, but you cannot hide from your own judgment. It's as if there is no escape. That's why so many people overeat, take drugs, abuse alcohol, and become addicted to various substances and behaviors. They try to do whatever they can to avoid their own story, to avoid their own creation that's distorting all the symbol in their head. Some people are suffering from so much emotional pain that they decide to take their own life. That's what lies can do to any of us. The voice of knowledge can become so distorted and create so much self-hate that it kills the human. And all of this is just because we believe all those opinions that we learn over so many years. Just imagine that all your own opinions, plus all the opinions of everybody around you, are like a huge hurricane inside you. Imagine believing all those opinions. Well, if you are skeptical, if you don't believe yourself, if you don't believe anybody else, then none of this opinion can disturb you or throw you off your center. When you have control over your own symbology, you are always centered. You are always relaxed and calm because the real you makes your choices in your life, not the symbols. When you want to communicate something, you order the symbols, and that is the way they come out for your mouth. You are the artist, and you can arrange the symbol in any way you want, in any direction you want, because all those symbols are at your command. You can use the symbols to ask for what you need, to express what you want, what do you don't want. You can express your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams in the most beautiful poetry or prose. But just because you use a language to communicate, it doesn't mean that you believe it. Why do you need to believe what you already know? When you are alone and talking to yourself, it's completely meaningless. What can you tell yourself that you don't already know? If you understand the fifth agreement, you will see the reason why you don't need to believe what you can see, what you already know without words. The truth does not come with words. The truth is silent. It's something that you just know. It's something that you can feel without words, and it's called silent knowledge. Silent knowledge is what you know before you invest your faith in symbols. When you open yourself to the truth and learn to listen, then all the symbols lose their value, and the only thing that remains is the truth. There is nothing to know, there is nothing to justify. What I'm sharing with you is not easy to understand, and at the same time, it's so simple that it's obvious. In the end, you are going to realize that languages are symbols that are only true because you think they are, and if you put them aside, what remains? The truth. Then you can see a chair and you won't know what to call it, but you can sit on it and the truth is there. Matter is truth, life is truth, light is truth, love is truth, the human dream is not truth. But not being true does not mean that it's bad. Being bad is just another concept that is not truth either. Once you realize that you create a whole symbology to communicate with your own kind, then you find out that the symbols are not really good or bad or right or wrong. You make them right or you make them wrong with your belief. That is the power of your belief, but the truth is beyond yourself. When you go beyond your symbol, what you find is a world of perfection where everyone and everything in creation is perfect. Even the investment of your belief in every word is perfect. Even your anger, your drama, your lies are perfect. Even the hell that you sometimes live in, it's perfect because only perfection exists. Just imagine if you lived your whole life without learning all the lies in your knowledge, without suffering from investing your faith in lies, superstition, and opinions. You would follow life like the rest of the animals, which means you would keep your innocence your entire life. In the process of domestication, you lose your innocence, but in losing your innocence, you start to search for what you have lost, and this leads you to gain awareness. Once you recover awareness, you become completely responsible for your own evolution. For every choice you make in life, when you are educated by the dream of the planet, you have no choice. You learn so many lies, but maybe it's time to unlearn those lies. and relearn how to follow the truth by following your own heart. Unlearning, or what I call undomestication, is a very slow but powerful process. As we said before, every time you take your feet away from a symbol, that power comes back to you, and it keeps coming back to you until finally the entire symbology has no power over you. When you take away the power of every symbol and bring it back to you, the whole dream is powerless, and when all the power has returned to you, you are invisible. Nothing can defeat you, or perhaps I should say that you can no longer defeat yourself, because it's exactly the same thing. Once you recover all the power you invested in symbols, you don't believe every thought that comes into your head. You don't believe in your own story, but you listen to your story, because you respect your own story, you can enjoy it. When you go to the movies or read a novel, you don't believe it, but you can enjoy it, right? Once you can see the difference between reality and the virtual reality, you know that you can trust reality and you don't have to trust the virtual reality, but you can enjoy both. You can enjoy what is, and you can enjoy what you create, even though you know your story is not true. You can create the most beautiful story, and you can guide your life through the story. You can create your personal heaven and life in the heaven. And if you can understand other people's story and they can understand yours, then together you can create the most beautiful dream. But first you need to unlearn a lot, and the fifth agreement is another perfect tool for that. Wherever you go around the world, you will hear all kinds of opinions and stories from the other people. You will find great storytellers wanting to tell you what you should do with your life. You should do this, you should do that, you should do whatever. Don't believe them, be skeptical, but learn to listen. Make them as your choice. Be responsible for every choice you make in your life. This is your life, it's nobody else's life, and you will find that it's nobody else's business what you do with your life for centuries. There have been people who claim to know the will of God and who go around the world preaching godness and rightness and condemning everybody. For centuries, there have been prophets who predicted the big catastrophes in the world not that long ago. There were people who predicted that in the year of 2000, all the computers would fail and society as we know it would disappear. Some people thought that we would return to the time of the cavemen. The day arrived. We celebrated the new century, the new year. What happened? Nothing happened. Thousands of years ago, just like today, there were prophets who were waiting for the end of the world. At the time, the great master said, there will be many false prophets who claims to be speaking the word of God and don't believe. You see, the fifth agreement is not really new. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. The dream of the first attention, the victims. This brings me to the story about Adam and Eve in the paradise. Adam and Eve represent all human, and God told us that we could eat whatever we wanted, except for the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The day that we ate the fruit of this tree, we would die. Well, we ate it and we died. Of course, this is just a story, but important thing is just meaning of this story. Why do we die when we eat the fruit of this tree? Because the real name of the tree of knowledge is the tree of death. The other tree in paradise is the tree of life. Life is truth, and the truth is just it. Without words, symbols. The tree of knowledge is just a reflection of the tree of life. We already know that knowledge is created with symbols, and that symbols are not real. When we eat the fruit of the tree knowledge, the symbol becomes a virtual reality that talks to us as a voice of knowledge, and we live in what the reality, believing that it's real, which means without awareness. Of course, it's obvious that humans ate the fruit of the tree of death. From my point of view, there are billions of humans walking around in this world who are dead, but they don't know they are dead. Yes, their bodies are alive, but they are dreaming without awareness that they are dreaming. And this is what the Toltec call dream of the first attention. The dream of the first attention is the dream that we create by using our attention for the very first time. This is what we also call the ordinary dream of the humans, or we can say that it's the dream of the victim, because we are the victim of all the symbols that we create. We are victim of all the voices in our head. We are victim of all the superstition and distortion in our knowledge. In the dream of the victims, where most people live, we are victimized by our religion, by our government, by our entire way of thinking and believing. When we are children, We cannot defend ourselves against all the lies that come with the whole tree of knowledge. As we said before, our parents, school, religion, and our entire society hook our attention and introduce us to their opinions and beliefs. We believe in the religion that we believe in because our parents believe in that religion, because that they take us to church or another place of worship, and we learn to believe everything we are told. The adults who take care of us tell us their stories, and we go to school, we hear more stories. We learn the story of our country, we learn about all the heroes, all the wars, and all the human suffering. The adults prepare us to be part of our society, and I can say without a doubt that it's a society ruled completely by lies. We learn to live in the same dream they live in. Our faith gets trapped in the structure of that dream, and that dream becomes normal for us. But I don't believe that they did this without any bad intention. The adult can only teach us what they know. They cannot teach us what they don't know. What they know is that they learn in their whole life. It's what they believe in their whole life. You can be sure that your parent did the best they could for you at the time. If they didn't do better, it's because they didn't know any better. You can bet that they had all kind of judgment about themselves and that everybody else was judging them too. They lived in the dream of the first attention, the underworld, the dream that we call Hades or hell. They were dead. Of course. All the symbols are not exactly the truth. The truth is behind the symbol. It's in the intent of the meaning of the symbol. When religion describes the dream of the hell, they say it's a place where we burn, a place when we are judged, a place of eternal punishment. Well, the description of hell is the ordinary dream of the humans. That very same thing is happening in the human mind. The judgment, the guilt, the punishment, the emotion generated by fear. That feel like the fire burning inside us. Fear is king of the underworld and it rules our world by creating distortion in our knowledge. Fear creates the whole world of injustice and emotional drama, the whole nightmare that billions of people are living in. And what is the biggest fear in this world? Fear of the truth. Humans are afraid of the truth because we have learned to believe so many lies. Of course, we are also afraid of the lies we believe. Truth or fiction, just having knowledge makes us feel safe, but then we suffer because we believe what we know, and almost everything we know is not true. It's just a point of view, but we believe it and we deliver the same distorted messages to our own children. The whole chain continues, and the history of humans repeats itself again and again and again. Long ago, wise people compared the dream of the first attention to a marketplace where thousands of people are talking at the same time and nobody is really listening. They call this a method, which is a Nahuatl word meaning extreme gossip. In that method, we use the word against ourselves, and when we relate with other people, we use the word against them. Every human is a magician, and in the interaction between the magicians, there are spells being cast everywhere. How? By misusing the word, by taking everything personally, by distorting everything we perceive with assumption, by gossiping and spreading emotional poison with the word. Humans cast spells mainly upon the people we love the most. And the more authority we have, the more powerful the spells. Authority is the power that a human has control to other human to make them obey. You can see yourself as a child. Being afraid of authority can also see adult being afraid of authority. Words spoken with authority become a powerful spell that affect other humans. Why? Because we believe those words. If we understand the power of symbology, we can see where the symbols are taking us. We can see it by the way we behave, by the interaction we have with everybody, but mainly with ourselves. We become possessed by an idea, by a belief, by a story. Sometimes it's anger that possesses us. Sometimes it's jealousy that possesses us. Sometimes it's love that possesses us. The symbols are competing for our control of our attention. And in one way or another, they are changing all the time. They are taking turns possessing us. There are thousands of symbols that want to take their place in our head and control us. As we said before, all the symbols are alive, and the life comes from us because we believe. The symbol talking and talking inside our head. They never stop. It's just as if we have a narrator in our head telling us everything that is happening around us, as we are not aware that we are perceiving. And now the sun is going down. That's good. I'm hot. Look, there are trees over there. What is that person doing? I wonder what he's thinking. The force of knowledge wants to know what everything means. It can hardly wait to interpret everything that happens in our life. It's telling us what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. It reminds us all the time what we believe about ourselves, what we don't believe about ourselves. It's telling us everything that we are not. It's asking us why we cannot be the way we should be. In the dream of the first attention, the world we live in is just like a reality show, hosted by a force of knowledge, and for sure, we are always going to be right and everyone else is going to be wrong because we use everything that we know to justify everything in our show. What a reality show! Rated number one, we create every character in the story, and whatever we believe about every one of them is not the truth. It never was the truth. With a whole tree of knowledge living in our head, we no longer perceive the truth. We only perceive our own knowledge. We only perceive lies. We only perceive lies. Our attention becomes trapped in the dream of hell. We no longer perceive the reality of heaven all around us, and this is how humans fell from paradise. In the story of Adam and Eve, we had a great exchange with a snake who lived in the tree of knowledge. That snake was a fallen angel who delivered the started message. He was the prince of lies, and we were innocent. The snake said to us, "Do you want to be like a god?" A simple question, but can you see the trick? If we had said no, thank you, I'm already God, we would still be living in the paradise. But we answered, yes, I want to be like God. We didn't notice the lie. We bit afraid, we swallowed the lie, and we died. What makes us bite the apple without noticing the lies, the doubt? Before we have a doubt, we don't even know the truth is there, and we just leave it. Once we ingest the lie, we no longer believe that we are God, and this is when we start to search for God. The next, we believe that we have to create a temple to find God. We need a place to worship God. We have to sacrifice everything to reach God. We have to create pain in ourselves and offer our pain to God. Very soon, we have a big temple with thousands of people believing that they are not God. Of course, we need to give God a name, and the result is the creation of religion. We create a god of thunder, god of war, god of love. We call them Zeus, Mars, Aphrodite. There were thousands, maybe millions of people who believe in this god and worship these gods. They offered their lives as a sacrifice to these gods. They even killed their own children as an offering to this god because they believed these gods were the truth. But were they? As you can see, the first lie that we believe is, I'm not God. For this lie comes another lie, and then another, and then another, and we believe and believe and believe. Very soon there are so many lies that it's overwhelming and we forget our own divinity. We see the beauty and perfection of God when we want to be like God. We want to be the image of perfection, and we search and search for perfection. Humans are storytellers, and we tell our children stories about a God who is perfect, about a God who judges us and punishes us when we misbehave. We tell them about a Santa Claus who rewards little children who are good or more like a God. These messages are distorted. The kind of God who pleads with justice does not exist. Santa Claus does not exist. All the knowledge in our head is not real. You see, when we talk to the snake in the tree of knowledge, we talk to the distorted reflection of ourselves. That snake is the tree of knowledge, is who we are really so afraid of. We are afraid of our own reflection. Is that silly? Imagine looking at the reflection of yourself in the mirror. The reflection appears to be an exact copy of what is real, but the image in the mirror is the opposite of what is real. Your right hand is your left hand in the mirror. Your truth is always distorted by reflection. When we are children, the mirror around us hook our attention so we can see them. And what we see are distorted images of ourselves. According to their mood, according to the moment when those mirrors are reflecting to us, according to whatever belief system they are using to justify the perception, the humans around us tell us what they believe we are, but there is not a clear mirror to reflect what we really are. All the mirrors are completely distorted. They project what they believe onto us, and almost everything they believe is a lie. We believe it or we don't believe it. But when we are children, we are innocent and we believe almost everything. We put our faith in lies. We give them life, we give them power, and soon these lies are ruling our life. The story of the prince of lies is just a story, but it's a beautiful story made with symbol that we can understand and then draw a conclusion. I think its meaning is clear. Once we start dreaming that we are not God, the whole nightmares begin. We fall from paradise and go directly to the underworld, to what we call hell. We begin to search for God. We begin to search for ourselves, because with the tree of knowledge is living our life and our authentic self is death. And this reminds me of another story about Jesus the Christ, who was walking with his disciples. When he saw a man who was worthy of his teaching, he wanted the man and say, "Come and join me." And the man replied, "Come, but my father just died. I have to bury him. And then I follow you." And Jesus told him, "Let the dead bury the dead. You are alive. Come with me." If you understand the story, it's easy to see that you are dead when you are not awake, when you're not aware of what you are. You are truth and you are life. Your love, but in the process of domestication, the outside dream, the dream of the planet, hooks your attention, fits all of your belief. Little by little, you become a copy of the outside dream. You copy everything you learn from everybody and everything around you. You copy not just belief, but behavior, which means you copy not just what people say, but what they do. You perceive the emotional state of the people around you, and you even copy that. You are not who you really are, because you have been possessed by that distorted image of you. And this may be a little difficult to understand, but all this time it has been you who possesses you. What is possessing you is the virtual you. It's what you think you are, it's what you believe you are, and that image of yourself becomes extremely powerful. All these years of practice have made you a master of pretending to be what you think you are, and that distorted image of yourself is really your grief. Because the real you is not the one who is living your life, and who is living your life. Is it the real you who creates all the drama and suffering in your life? Is it the real you who says life is a valley of tears and we come here to suffer? Is it the real you who judges yourself and punishes yourself and invites other people to punish you too? Is it the real you who abuses your body? Is it the real you who does not even like yourself? Is it the real you who is dreaming all that? No, it's not the real you. You are dead, and that's the truth. What is the key to coming back to life? Awareness. When you recover awareness, you resurrect, then come back to life. In the Christian tradition, the resurrection days, when the Christ come back from death and show his divinity to the world. That's why you are here, to come back from the death and reclaim your own divinity. It's time to come back from the world of illusion, the world of lies, and return to your own truth and to your own authenticity. It's time to unlearn the lies and becomes the real you. And in order to do that, you need to come back to life, which is truth. Awareness is the key to come back to life, and it's one of the main masteries of Toltec. Awareness takes you out of the dream of the first attention into the dream of the second attention, where you rebel against all the lies that are ruling your head. You rebel, and the whole dream starts changing. The dream of the second attention, the warriors. The first time that we learn how to dream, there are many things that we don't like, that we are against, but we just accept the dream as it is. Then for whatever reason we become aware that we don't like the way we are living our life. We become aware of what we are dreaming and we don't want to dream. Now we try to use the attention a second time and change our dream to create a second dream. This is what the Toltec called the dream of the second attention, or the dream of the warrior, because now we declare a war against all the lies in our knowledge. In the dream of the second attention, we begin to doubt. Maybe everything I learn is not the truth. We begin to challenge what we believe. We start to question all the questions that we learn. We know there is something in our head that makes us do many things that perhaps we don't want to do. Something that has complete control of our mind, and we don't like it. And because we don't like it, at a certain point we begin to rebel. In that rebellion, we try to recover our authenticity, what I call the integrity of the self, or the totality of what we are. In the dream of the first attention, the authentic self has no change. It's the complete victim. We don't rebel, we don't even try. But now we no longer want to be the victim. We try to change our world. We try to recover our personal freedom and the freedom to be who we really are. The freedom to do what we really want to do. The world of the warriors is the world of trying. We try to change the world that we don't like, and we keep trying, and the world looks endless. In the dream of the warriors, we are in a war, but that war is not against other people. It has nothing to do with the outside dream. The whole thing is happening inside our mind. It's a war against the part of our mind that makes all the choices and that guides us into our personal hell. It's a war between the authentic self and what we call the Tiran, the big judge, the book of law, and the belief system. It's a war between ideas, between opinions, between belief. I also call it the war of the gods because all these ideas fight for dominance of the human mind, and just like the gods of antiquity, they claim a human sacrifice. Yes, the human sacrifice we offer to the gods is still happening, even if we claim that we don't believe in human sacrifice anymore. Of course, we changed the names of the gods, we changed the meaning of all the symbol that we call God. Perhaps we no longer believe in Apollo, we no longer believe in Zeus, we no longer believe in Osiris, but we believe in justice, we believe in liberty, and we believe in democracy. These are the names of the new gods. We give our power to this symbol, we take them to the realm of the gods, and we sacrifice our life in the name of these gods. Human sacrifice is happening all the time, all over around the world, and we can see the result. We see violence, we see crime, we see jails full of people, we see war, we see the dream of the hell in humanity because we believe in the so many superstition and distortion in our knowledge. Humans create wars and send our young to be sacrificed in those wars. Many times they don't even know what they are fighting. The dream of the third attention, the masters. The dream of the second attention ends when something very important happens in our life, something called the last judgment. This is the very last time we judge either ourselves or anybody else. It's the day we accept ourselves just the way we are and we accept everybody else just the way they are. When the day of our last judgment comes, the war in our head is over and the dream of the third attention begins. And it will be the end of our world, but also the beginning of our world, because we are no longer in the dream of the warrior. We are in the upper world, or what I can call the dream of the masters. The masters are former warriors. They have won their personal war and they are at peace. The dream of the master is a dream of truth, a dream of respect, a dream full of love and joy. It's the playground of life. It's what we are meant to live in. Only awareness can take us to that place. Many religions talk about the last judgment as if it's a punishment for sinners. They describe it as the day when God comes and judges us and destroys all the sinners. This is not true. The last judgment is a card in the tarot, which is an ancient mythology from Egypt. When the mystic school talk about the last judgment, we can hardly wait for that day because it's the day when the dead come out of their grave, which means we resurrect. It's the day when we recover awareness and awaken from the dream of the underworld. It's the day when we are no longer afraid to be alive again. This is when we come back to our real state, our divine self, where we feel a communion of love with everything in existence. The resurrection is a wonderful concept from mystery school all around the world. Once you have the awareness that almost everything you learn through symbol is not the truth, the only thing left is just to enjoy life, and that's the resurrection. When you give meaning to everything through symbol, your attention is dispersed on many things at once. When you take away the meaning of everything, you are in communion and you become the whole thing to yourself. You become the only living being that exists. There is no difference between you and any star in the sky or you and any rock in the desert. Everything in existence is a part of the only living being in existence. When you experience this truth, even for a moment, the whole structure of your belief system disappears and you are in that wonderful dream of heaven. Today can be a day just like every other day, or today can be a day of celebration, the day of your resurrection, the day that you change the world by coming back to life. It can be the day for the real you to come out of the grave of believing that you are what you think you are and become what you really are. In the dream of the third attention, you finally have the awareness of what you are, but not with words. And because there are no words to explain what you are, you go back into peace, the place where you don't need to use words to know what you are. This is what the masters in the esoteric philosophy would reveal to their apprentices. The highest place you can reach is when you go beyond symbols and become one with life with God. Ancient religions claim that nobody can say the name of God, and it's absolutely true, because there is no symbol to describe God. The only way to know God is to be God. When you become a God, you say, oh, that's why I could not learn the symbol. The truth is that we don't know the name of the one who created us. The word God is just a symbol that represents what really exists, and I resist this word because it's a symbol that has become so distorted. If we use symbol to describe God, we need to agree on the meaning of the symbol and then what point of view are we using. There are billions of different point of view, and as an artist, I do my best to paint God with words, and it's the only thing I can offer. A picture of God from my personal point of view. Whatever I say, of course, is just a story that's only the truth for me. And maybe this will make sense to you, and maybe it won't, but at least you will have an idea of my personal point of view. The dream of the masters is a little difficult to explain because the real teaching is not with words, it's with the presence. If you could feel the presence of a master, you would learn much more than you can from words. Words cannot express even a tiny bit of experience, but if you use your imagination, words can take you to the place where you can have the experience for yourself. And this is my intention right now, for you to expand your awareness to the point where you can perceive what you really are, where you can feel what you really are. Instead of using words, perhaps a better way is to put your face to face with God, so you can see God. And if I show you God face to face, what you are going to see is yourself. Believe it or do not believe it, but you will see yourself because you are the manifestation of God. And if you could see what's moving your body, then you would see the real God. Look at your own hand, move your fingers and force. The force that moves your finger is what the Toltec call intent, or what I call life, the infinite, or God. Intent is the only living being that exists, and it's the force that is moving everything. You're not the fingers, you are the force that is moving them. The fingers obey you. You can give whatever explanation you want. Oh, my brain, my nerves. But if you go for the truth, the force that moves your finger is the same force that makes you dream. It's the same force that opens a flower, or moves the wind, or creates a tornado, or makes the star move throughout the universe, or makes the electrons move around atom. There's only one living being, and you are that being. You are the force that manifests itself in infinite ways throughout all the universes. The first manifestation of the force is light, or energy, which is the same thing, and everything is created through this energy. Scientists know that everything is made of energy, and since there is only one force in the universe that creates this energy, at this point science and religion come together, and we can understand that we are God because we are light. That is what we are. That is what everything is, in billions and billions of different frequencies or manifestation of light, and together all the different frequencies create only one light. Intent is the force that creates the light, and we can say that light is the messenger of intent because it carries the message of life that goes everywhere. Light has all the information to create everything in existence, including any kind of life: humans, monkeys, dogs, trees, anything. All the species of life on planet Earth are created from a specific rate or frequency of light that scientists call DNA. And the difference between the DNA itself may be minimal, but in a manifestation it could be the difference between a human and a monkey, or a human and a jaguar, or a human and a tree. Light has many properties. It's alive, it's a living being, and it's extremely intelligent. It's creating all of the time. It's transforming all of the time, and it cannot be destroyed. Light is everywhere and everything is full of light, but we cannot see light unless it's reflected by matter. If we send an object into space from planet Earth, we see the object because it is reflecting light. There are no empty spaces between the stars, between the galaxies, between all the universes, which means all the universes are connected. You are a whole universe. The Earth is another universe. The Sun and all the planets around the Sun are another universe. All the solar systems together create another universe, and we can keep going and going until we see only one living being made by millions and millions of different living beings. Every living being is protected by the force that we call soul. The soul is the force that puts the entire universe together and recognizes the totality of the being. The soul makes matter impenetrable, which means it creates what looks like a division between being. The soul gives shape to everything. Without this force, there will be no difference between you and a flower or a fish or a bird. Your soul was born at the moment of your conception, and it recognizes every element of itself, every molecule, every cell, every organ of your being. Your soul recognizes everything that belongs to your universe, and it rejects everything that does not belong to it. In the dream of the third attention, you are aware that your body is a whole universe made by billions of living beings, made by atoms, made by molecules, made by cells, made by tissues, made by organs, made by system, until the whole universe is one. And from the point of view of the human, of the mind, it looks like there is only one point of view, the one behind your eyes. But if you go deep into awareness, you find that every atom in your body has a personal point of view, because every atom is alive, every atom is an entire universe. It's nothing but a miniature solar system with the stars and a planet. What every universe has in common is that each one of them is alive with the total power of the infinite. You, that force, are alive. You are total power. You are truth. You are real. Everything else, including everything you know through symbols, is not truth. It's not real. It's an illusion, and it's beautiful. Light is not just intelligent, it has a memory, it creates an image of itself, it creates the whole world of illusion that becomes your mind. The way you dream, the dreams are not matter, they are a reflection of a matter, and that reflection exists in the matter that we call the brain. The brain is nothing but a mirror. As we said before, if you look inside a mirror, you are seeing your own mind, your own dream. The first time you open your eyes, you start to perceive light, and light becomes your teacher. Light projects information into your eyes, and you don't understand, but you are made to perceive light, to become one with light, because light is your other half, and because you are a light. You are always creating and always transforming and always evolving. Light goes directly into your brain and rearranges your brain in order to modify your virtual reality to make you a better reflection of itself. When light is modifying your brain, the brain by itself is modifying the God's factory, the DNA, for the next possible human being that can come from you. And just as your body has many different organs, brain, heart, lungs, liver, stomach, skin, and that all together create you, a totality of every organ in your body is made up by different kind of cells that create that organ. Do the cells know that together all of the cells are only one living being, which means you? Do we human know that together all of the human are only one living being, which means humanity? You are surrounded by billions of humans just like you. They were programmed to be human, male or female. You recognize them. You know they are humans like you know. Perhaps what you don't know is that we humans are an organ of the beautiful planet Earth. Planet Earth is alive, it's a living being, and the entire humanity work for the planet as an organ of that living being. The forests are another organ, the atmosphere is another organ, every species is another organ, and we all work together to create in equilibrium, that is the metabolism of the planet Earth. All of the humanity is only one living being, and this is no longer a theory. We humans live together, we have the same kind of body, we have the same kind of mind, we have the same needs. We create all the symbols to understand one another, male or female, victims, warrior, masters. We are all the same. No human is better or worse than any other human. No human is better or worse than any that exists throughout the universe at the deepest level of our being. There is no difference between a human and a dog, or a human and a fly, or a fly, or a flower. We are the same, we come from the same place, and it doesn't matter where our story comes from. It doesn't matter if we are a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Hindu, we come from the same place, and we are going to back to the same place. The infinite create everything in existence, and when the cycle is over, everything returns to the infinite. Of course, the body dies because the body is mortal, but you, the force, are immortal. In that force where the mind lives, the only thing that dies are the lies. In ancient Egypt, it was said, if your heart is like lighter than a feather when you die, then welcome to heaven. If your heart is heavier than a feather, yeah, you're not going to heaven. Lies cannot go back into power, but the truth returns to power, because the truth is a reflection of power. It's the reflection of the infinite. The question becomes, how heavy are your lies? Is your heart burdened with anger, fear, guilt, regret? In the dream of the third attention, the truth has already destroyed all the lies, and the only thing that survives is the truth, which means the real you, you are that force, you are life, which is truth, and from that point, your dream becomes heaven, your dream becomes a beautiful masterpiece of art, a beautiful masterpiece of love. This leads you to the third mastery of the Toltec, the mastery of love, or we can also call it the mastery of intent or fate. I prefer to call it the mastery of fate because it's the mastery for you to trust in yourself, which means realizing the power that you have, the power of intent, the power of love, the power of belief, the power of faith, or the power of love. They are all the same power, of course. They are total power. In the moment when you master faith, you live your life in love because love is what you are and it's wonderful. In that moment, you completely accept your body, your emotion, your life, your story. You respect yourself, you respect all the artists and all the brothers, sisters, you respect all of the creation. You love yourself unconditionally and you are not afraid to express your love, to say I love you to others. When you master faith, when you live your life in love, you see your own love being reflected in every secondary character of your story, and you love every secondary character of your story unconditionally just as you love yourself. This changes your relationship with the rest of the humans. It makes you completely impersonal. You don't reason to love someone or not to love someone you don't even know. You don't even choose to love. Because the love is your nature. Love is coming out of you like the light from the sun. All of your nature is coming out of you just as it is without expectation, and your love has nothing to do with words in your head. There are no stories. It's an experience that we call communion, which means to have the same frequency, the same vibration as love. This is how you used to be before you learn to speak, because you have evolved from the whole deep hell of the dream of the first attention into better dream, the dream of the second attention, after the dream of the third attention, where you know that everything you're seeing, everything you are dreaming is a virtual reality made by light. For thousands of years, people have known that there are three worlds that exist within every human. In almost every philosophy and mythology, we find that people have divided everything into three worlds, but they have called them by different names and have used different symbols to describe them, as we have seen in the artist tradition, which means the Toltec. These three worlds are known as the dream of the first attention, the dream of the second attention, the dream of the third attention. In Greece and Egypt, they were known as the underworld, the world, and the upper world. In the Christian tradition, they are known as hell, purgatory, and paradise. The concept of the world that we have today is in many ways different than what people understood thousands of years ago. For them, the world was not the planet. The world was everything that we can perceive, everything that we know. That is why it was said that every head is a world, because each of us creates an entire world in our head, and we live in that world. The majority of human life in the dream of the first attention, and the underworld, another large part of humanity live in a dream of the second attention, the world of the warriors, and it's because of this dream the humanity is going in the right direction and evolving the way it is. We usually believe that the upper world is all about goodness and the underworld is all about fear and evil, but that's not exactly true. All three worlds exist with every human, within every human. We carry the underworld within us just as we carry the upper world within us. In the underworld, a whole infinity exists, and in the upper world, there are also exists a whole infinity. And both meet in the world, which is where we live. The way to the underworld becomes a choice, just as the way the upper world becomes a choice. In the dream of the masters, we are aware that make a choices to have a power in our hands. We control our whole dream by making choices. Every choice has a consequences, and a dream master is aware of the consequences. Making a choice can open many doors and close many other doors. Not making a choice is also a choice that we can make. By making choices, we can master the art of dreaming and create the most beautiful life. Anybody can be a great dream artist, but the mastery comes when we have complete control over our dream, which means we recover control of our own attention. When we master of the attention, when we master the attention, we really master intent, which means we have complete control over our choices. The dream of our life is going to go wherever we want to take it. In the ordinary dream of the humans, The belief system control of and the attention, and because of our personal power, our will is weak. Anyone can hook our attention and insert an opinion in our mind. The will or intent is the force that can move that what exists or change the direction of what exists. The will is what holds the attention and moves the attention. Once we have enough power that we can use our will, we gain control of the attention, then we can finally gain control of our belief and win the war for the control of our dream. In the dream of the third attention, we are not putting our attention on life. We are life, we are the force, we are intent, in intent control of the attention. The dream of the third attention is the dream of the pure intent. We become aware that we are life, not just as a concept, but as an action, as complete awareness. No, we can see with the eyes of truth, and this is a completely different point of view. The first time you learn how to dream, your belief system creates millions of little barriers to the truth. When the structure of your belief system is no longer there, you take away the barriers and you no longer only see one point of view. There are many points of view that you can see at the same time. You see yourself not just from the point of view of a human, but from the point of view of a force. You see yourself not just as a force, but as a manifestation of the force. You know that you are light, you are just an image in the light, and you use your attention to witness the dream from the point of view of light. You no longer see everything outside of you as if it's separate from you. You feel the totality of yourself in everything. You feel yourself as the only living being that exists, and you don't just feel it, you know it, as we said before. You understand what you are, but not with words. You don't need symbols. If you use symbol to understand what you are, you can get lost in the symbol while trying to understand yourself. You call yourself a human, and perhaps you identify what the symbol, but in China, you are not a human. In Spain, you're not a human. In Germany, you're not a human. Human is just one symbol. And what is the meaning of that symbol? You could write an entire book and use thousands of symbols to describe the meaning of human. And so you will leave something out, and it's just one symbol. Use a symbol to understand what you are. It's nothing but nonsense. Whatever you think you are will never be the truth, because symbols are not the truth. If you say to a cat, "Hey, you dog," it won't care. It won't answer back. If you say to the person, "Hey, you dog," the person will surely respond, "I'm not a dog." Some people may be offended, but another may laugh. It will be tragic for some and comic for others, because we are dealing with a different point of view. Do animals need to know the symbol for what they are? Well, they don't know, and they don't care. They just are. They don't need symbol to justify their existence. If someone asks me what I am, I can say I'm a human being. I'm a man. I'm made out of energy. I'm made out of the matter. I am a father and I'm a doctor. I can use symbol to identify what I am, to justify what I am, to try to understand myself, but the symbol does not mean anything really. The truth is, I don't know what I am. The only thing I know is that I'm alive, and you can touch me, I'm dreaming, and I'm aware that I'm dreaming. Aside from that, nothing else is important, because everything else is just a story. Symbol will never tell me what I am or where I come from. And it's not important because I'm going back there anyway. That's why one of the biggest heroes is the cartoon character Popeye, the sailor man, who says, "I am what I am, and that's all that I am." That's a wisdom. That's complete acceptance, which means complete respect for what I am, because I am truth. Maybe what I say is not a truth, but I am truth, and it's the same with you. You are alive, you do exist, that's true, but what are you? The truth is that you don't know. You only know what you believe you are, and you know that what you learn that you are, you know what you were told that you are, you know what you pretend to be, you know the way you wish to be seen by other people, and for you it may be true, but it's really true that you are what you say you are. I don't think so. What you say about yourself is just in biology, and it's completely distorted by your belief. When you finally see yourself without all the knowledge that you have accumulated, the result is I am. I am what I am, you are what you are, and the complete acceptance of whatever you are is what makes a difference. Once you completely accept what you are ready to enjoy life. There's no more judgment, no more guilt, no more shame, no more remorse. When you leave symbol aside, what remains is the bare truth, pure and simple. You don't need to know what you are, and this is a huge revelation. You don't need to pretend to be what you are not. You can be completely authentic, and because of that, you can deliver a message. And that message is real you. Your presence is the message, and it's the same presence you can feel when your first child is born and you finally hold it in your hands. You can feel the presence of the divinity in your hand without understanding anything, without any words. Every newborn baby has the same presence. It's a God, the infinite, an angel incarnate. And we are programmed to react to the presence of the baby. The baby does not need to say a word. The presence of the baby says everything. Just its presence awakens the need to give, to protect. When it's your own baby, the instinct is even stronger, and then the present is really something incredible. The presence awakens your generosity, and you just start giving it to your child without expecting anything back, until perhaps a certain point when your child grows up and it seems as if that presence was lost. When you were born, your presence was enough to awaken an instinct in people around you, to give you attention, to protect you, to try to fulfill your needs. You still have that presence, but it has been repressed for a long time. It has been waiting to come up. To really feel the presence, you need to be completely aware. You need to see your whole creation from another point of view, from a place where everything is simple. When you are not aware, everything is completely illogical. Then fear takes over and creates the big me thoughts. The fifth agreement is an important part of recovering what you are, because it uses the power of doubt to break all the spells you have been under. It's a very strong intent for you to use your magic to recover the presence that you lost a long time ago. When all of your attention is not on your story, you can see what is real. You can feel what is real. When you are not possessed by a symbology, you recover the presence you had when you were born, and the emotion of the people around you respond to your presence. Then you give the other people the only thing you really have, which is yourself, your present, and that makes a huge difference. But this only happens when you become completely authentic. Just imagine becoming the way you used to be as a very young child, before you understood the meaning of any symbol, before your knowledge took over your mind. When you recover your presence, you are just like a flower, you just like the wind, you just like the ocean, just like the sun, just like the light. You're just like you. There's nothing to justify, there's nothing to believe. You are here just to be for no reason. You have no mission except to enjoy life, to be happy. The only thing you need is just to be the real you, be authentic, depression, be the present, be happiness, be love, be joy. Be yourself. That's the main point. That's wisdom. You are the unknowable. You are here just to be in this moment, in this dream. Being has nothing to do with knowledge. It's not about understanding. You don't need to understand. It's not about learning. You are here to unlearn, and that is until one day you will realize you know nothing. You only know what you believe, what you learn. You just find out that it was not the truth. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, took his whole life to get the point of view where he said, "As for me, all I know is that I know nothing." Becoming a seer, a new point of view. 2000 years ago, a great master said, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Well, now you know that the truth is what you are. The next step is to see the truth, to see what you are. Only then you are free. Free of what? Free of all this distortion in your knowledge. Free of all the emotional drama that is the consequence of believing in lies. When the truth sets you free, the symbol you learn are no longer ruling your world. Then it's not about being right or wrong, or good or bad. It's not about being the winner or loser. It's not about being your old or young, beautiful or ugly. All that is over. It was nothing but symbol. You will know that you are totally free when you no longer have to be the you that you pretend to be. This freedom is profound. It's the freedom to be the real you, and it's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. Imagine living without, fear, without judgment, without blame, without guilt, without shame. Imagine living your life without trying to please on other people's point of view, and not even your own point of view according to your own book of love. Imagine how different your life would be if you lived with gratitude, with love, loyalty, justice, beginning with yourself. Just imagine the union between you and your body. If you were completely loyal to your body, if you were completely grateful for your body, if you treated your body with justice, imagine being yourself and not trying to convince anybody of anything. Imagine that just by being yourself, you are happy, and that wherever you go, heaven is going with you because you are a heaven. Imagine living with this kind of freedom. Yes, the truth will set you free, but first you need to see the truth. I want you to see if the story of you is the truth or is not the truth. Just witness what is without any judgment, because whatever you are creating is perfect. You see your environment, the frame of your dream all around you. See your belief, the way they are reflected in the story of your life. See where your attention is bringing your whole dream. I don't mean for you to think about it. I mean for you to see, and seeing is not thinking. Is it the truth? Well, if it's not the truth, now you know that you don't have to believe it. Instead of believing, learn to see what you believe. You distort right away according to your knowledge. But when you let go of knowledge and go beyond symbol at a certain point of life, you start to become a seer. A seer is a dreamer who has mastered the dream, who has learned to see artist, dreamer, messenger, seer. There are so many ways to name you. I prefer to call you an artist because your whole creation is a masterpiece of